Have you ever felt like something invisible is tugging at your emotions, pushing you into fear, anger, or despair for no clear reason? What if those feelings weren't entirely yours? What if they were nudged, provoked, or even harvested by forces you can't see, but have been here since the dawn of time? It sounds like science fiction, right? But across ancient texts, mystical traditions, and even modern spiritual explorers, there's one haunting theme that keeps surfacing. We are not alone in our inner world. According to the ancient Gnostics, there are entities called Archons that thrive on the energy of human beings. Not physical food, not water, but something much more valuable: our emotions, our life force, our attention. And here's the kicker. These Archons don't need to lock you in chains to control you. They only need to stir your feelings, hijack your thoughts, and keep you vibrating in the lower states of fear, shame, guilt, and despair. That's their fuel. That's their hidden agenda. Who are the Archons? The word Archon comes from the Greek word for ruler or authority. In ancient Gnostic teachings, secret knowledge passed down outside of mainstream religion, Archons were described as cosmic parasites. They were not creators, but imitators, beings of shadow, deception, and distortion. Their job? To keep humanity distracted, divided, and spiritually asleep. Gnostics believed that behind our visible world was a higher realm of pure light and truth, the pleroma. But the Archons, under the control of a flawed being called the Demiurge, wove a web of illusion around Earth, keeping souls trapped in cycles of suffering. Sound familiar? It's eerily close to Robert Monroe's idea of Loosh farming, except here the system has names, roles, and an ancient mythology that feels like a manual for understanding invisible control. The emotional harvest. Think about your own life. Have you noticed how easy it is to get pulled into outrage on social media? Or how news cycles constantly bombard us with fear, conflict, and division? The Archons don't need to appear with horns and claws. Instead, they thrive on keeping us locked in emotional turbulence. Every burst of anger, every anxious spiral, every deep sorrow, they drink it in like fuel. But it's not all emotions they seek equally. Just like Monroe said about Loosh, negative emotions are the fast food, easy to trigger, abundant, but low quality. Love, gratitude, compassion, that's the gourmet meal. Those higher frequencies are harder to generate, but far more nourishing to the cosmos. So what do the Archons do? They manipulate us into producing junk energy, conflict, fear, division, because it keeps us trapped and them fed. Ancient echoes in modern times. This might sound like pure mythology, but look around. Doesn't it feel like the world is structured to keep us distracted and divided? News and media. Headlines designed to spark outrage. Social media. Algorithms feeding us comparison, jealousy, and tribalism. Politics. Fear-based narratives that pit neighbor against neighbor. What if this isn't accidental? What if it's the Archonic influence finding new outlets in modern systems? Even Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, spoke of Archons as psychic forces, autonomous powers that act like inner parasites, influencing thought patterns and emotional states. The Demiurge, the master deceiver. At the center of this cosmic drama is the Demiurge. According to Gnostics, he's not the true God, but an imposter, a blind creator who fashioned the material world as a trap. He thinks he's supreme, but he's cut off from the true source. And his servants, the Archons, act as his gatekeepers, ensuring souls don't wake up to their divine origin. If you've ever heard phrases like the Matrix, Maya, or the Veil of Illusion, they're all pointing to the same thing, this false construct designed to keep us spiritually asleep. Escaping the farm. Here's the twist. The Gnostics didn't just describe the problem, they also offered the solution. They taught that within every human is a divine spark, a fragment of the true source that the Archons cannot touch. This spark is your awareness, your ability to observe, question, and rise above emotional manipulation. Every time you choose love over fear, forgiveness over resentment, or compassion over judgment, you weaken the Archon's grip. You reclaim your energy. It's like flipping a switch in a dark room. The Archons thrive in shadow, but when you shine awareness, they scatter. Modern parallels. Are we seeing Archons in action? When Robert Monroe talked about Loosh, he was describing the same pattern: Earth as a field of human energy production. The Gnostics simply gave the farmers names: Archons. Some modern thinkers even connect this to UFO encounters, abduction stories, or shadow beings seen in altered states. Whether literal entities or psychological parasites, the effect is the same. They siphon our life force through emotional turmoil. But here's the empowering part. They only win if we stay unconscious. The choice is ours. So the big question is, are we slaves or are we creators? The Archon's hidden agenda may be to feed off our energy, but we are not powerless crops in their farm. We are conscious beings capable of transmutation, turning pain into wisdom, fear into courage, despair into love. Every act of awareness, every choice to elevate your emotions, every refusal to be dragged into pointless conflict, that's rebellion against the Archons. That's sovereignty. How Archons operate today. If the Archons are real, you won't find them knocking on your door or floating above city skylines with glowing eyes. Their playground isn't the physical world, it's the psyche. They're masters of subtlety. Have you ever noticed how your phone's notifications seem to arrive right when you're trying to focus? Or how a single comment online can send your whole mood spiraling? That's not just bad luck. That's the perfect environment for Archonic influence. The Archons don't need to show up as scary monsters. They show up as patterns. Endless distraction. You sit down to work, but 5 minutes later, you're scrolling. Triggered reactions, one news headline, and your heart rate spikes. Addictive loops. Fear, anger, comparison, jealousy. All of this feeds the same cycle, the production of emotional energy. The lower your state of consciousness, the easier it is for them to feed. Think of them as hackers of the human operating system. They plant emotional viruses, doubt, shame, outrage, and watch as we run their code. The Archon's favorite fuel: fear and division. Fear is the most powerful and reliable emotion in their toolkit. Fear shrinks your perspective, locks you in survival mode, and drains your creative energy. Division is the second favorite. When you're fighting with someone, you're not creating. You're not connecting to your higher self. You're radiating love. You're radiating exactly the low vibration fuel they crave. Look at the world. Tribal politics, cancel culture, endless online brawls. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet of emotional energy. But here's the important part. They can't make you feel anything without your consent. They can suggest, nudge, or manipulate, but ultimately, your inner state is still your domain. The Great Forgetting: How They Keep Us Asleep. The Gnostics believed the Archons excel at making us forget who we really are. They bury our divine spark under layers of conditioning. You're just a body. You're powerless. You're not enough. We grow up internalizing these beliefs until we barely question them. And once we believe we're small, weak, and alone, we stop reaching for the higher states of consciousness that break the cycle. It's the perfect trap. You don't even know you're in one. Modern Archons. Tech, media, And algorithms. You don't have to be mystical to see how this works. Algorithms already harvest your attention for profit. Fear-based headlines already keep you doom-scrolling. Outrage already keeps you glued to screens. Whether literal entities or metaphors, the result is the same. Your emotional energy is being harvested. You feel drained, scattered, and anxious. Meanwhile, something else benefits. The Gnostics called them Archons. Monroe called it Loosh. Today, we might call it attention economy or psychic vampirism. Different words, same pattern. Your energy is currency. If the Archons feed on emotion, then every choice you make about where to put your attention is like spending money. Scrolling through outrage, handing over coins of low-grade energy. Meditating, creating, loving equals investing in high-octane energy. This flips the whole narrative. You're not just a victim, you're an investor. You decide what you're funding, the Archon's agenda or your own spiritual growth. Signs you're under Archonic influence. How do you know when you're being fed upon? Here are a few subtle clues. You feel compulsively drawn to drama, even when you know it's bad for you. Your emotional state flips rapidly after consuming certain content. You feel drained or heavy after spending time in certain spaces, online or in real life. These are all signals that your emotional energy is leaking into something else's cup. Breaking free, the power of awareness. The first and most powerful step is awareness. The Archons thrive in the dark, in your blind spots. The moment you shine a light on what's happening, you begin to reclaim your power. When you notice yourself being triggered, pause. Breathe. Ask, is this really me? Or is this a pattern trying to pull me in? That single question can snap you out of the loop and cut off their fuel supply. Turning awareness into power. Awareness alone is powerful, but it's just the first step. Imagine you've discovered a leak in your house. Seeing the water is good, but you still have to fix the pipe. The same goes for your emotional energy. Once you know the Archons, or whatever you want to call these forces, thrive on low vibrations, the next step is to consciously redirect your emotional current. This is what the Gnostics hinted at, what Robert Monroe realized, and what modern teachers call emotional alchemy. Step 1. Emotional alchemy, transforming fear into fuel. Life will throw fear, anger, sadness, and frustration at you. That's inevitable. But here's the secret. Those emotions are raw materials, not waste. Think of your heart as an alchemist's furnace. When fear enters, you have a choice. React unconsciously, feed the Archons, or pause, breathe, observe, and transmute it into courage, clarity, or compassion. Feed your evolution. It's like taking emotional lead and refining it into gold. Meditation, deep breathing, journaling, even mindful movement can all help you cook the raw energy of negative emotion into something lighter. Step 2. Guard your attention like treasure. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Treat it like your wallet. Would you hand out cash to every stranger on the street? Probably not. Yet every time you doom scroll, argue online, or watch content designed to provoke you, you're handing out emotional coins. Practical tips. Limit exposure to outrage-based media. Set digital boundaries. No phone first thing in the morning. Curate your environment. Fill your feed, your room, and your day with things that inspire rather than drain. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing what you energize. Step 3. High-frequency habits. Feed the universe with love. If low-grade emotions feed the Archons, high-grade emotions feed your soul. Gratitude, kindness, curiosity, creativity, these are your premium fuel. Make it a daily practice. Start your day with gratitude journaling. Do one small act of kindness, even just a sincere compliment. Engage in creative expression, art, music, writing, building something. These habits don't just feel good, they shift your vibration. They make your inner energy so refined that parasitic patterns can't hook onto you. Step 4. Meditative escape velocity. Robert Monroe called it escape velocity, reaching a state of consciousness high enough to slip beyond the normal energy exchange system. You don't have to be a monk. Even 5 minutes a day of deep meditation, breathwork, or prayer can recalibrate your frequency. Over time, you spend more and more of your day above the harvest line. It's like moving from choppy waters into a calm, clear stream. In that state, your emotions still flow, but they're luminous, not heavy. Step 5. Reframe life as a school, not a prison. This is perhaps the most empowering shift of all. Instead of seeing Earth as a grim farm, see it as a training ground. Every challenge is a test in emotional mastery. Every setback is a chance to refine your energy. When you adopt this perspective, you stop feeling like a victim of hidden forces. You start seeing yourself as a student of the cosmos, learning to wield your inner power. And, paradoxically, that very shift breaks the Archon's grip. We are not helpless. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by ideas like Archons or energy harvesting, but remember, they thrive on ignorance, you're waking up. They thrive on fear, you're cultivating love. They thrive on division, you're practicing unity. Every time you choose a higher emotion, you're sending a signal out into the universe: I am sovereign. My energy is mine. I create. That ripple affects more than just you. It lightens rooms, relationships, and even collective consciousness. The bigger picture, from cosmic farm to cosmic symphony. Here's the beautiful paradox. The same system that once looked like a prison may actually be a stage for your greatest growth. By learning to master your emotions, you graduate from being food to becoming a co-creator. You're not just surviving in a cosmic farm. You're composing your part of the cosmic symphony. Every act of awareness, every transmuted emotion, every moment of compassion, it's all music. It resonates far beyond your personal life. Maybe the Archons aren't just predators. Maybe, unconsciously, they're also teachers, catalysts for your awakening. Your role in the hidden agenda. So, where do you go from here? Start small. Notice your triggers. Breathe before reacting. Choose gratitude instead of resentment. Turn off the noise. Meditate. Create. Love. Do it not because it's spiritual homework, but because it feels like freedom. Because it's you reclaiming the one thing you've always owned, your inner state. As you do, you'll notice a shift. People around you feel lighter. Situations that once drained you no longer hook you. You'll feel more like a creator than a victim. That's the Archon's worst nightmare, a human who has remembered their power. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or angry, pause and ask yourself, who or what am I feeding right now? Then choose differently. Because you're not just a body walking through life. You're a radiant source of energy in a universe powered by emotion. And when you reclaim that truth, you're no longer a pawn in someone else's game. You're a conscious co-creator, writing your own chapter in the cosmic story. And that, perhaps, is the real hidden agenda. Not theirs, but yours. To wake up, to rise, and to shine.